What is up, champ? Today I'm going to take you on a journey to help you understand why migrants come to the UK or other Western countries. If you think migrants come here to steal your jobs, take benefits and cause problems, give me 3 minutes of your time. I am a first generation migrant and I'll tell you the truth. This is from someone who's actually lived it. I was born in Afghanistan and I arrived in the United Kingdom when I was 13. I ran away from home from Pakistan at the age of 12 and I was homeless for a year. By homeless, I mean I actually lived in the streets for a year and sleeping on the bus station, train stations, public parks, just like I was completely homeless. I only had a backpack, and in that backpack there was one pair of clothes, one t-shirt and one jeans, and I would wash it somewhere anywhere that I found water. I would wash it. There was no soap or anything. I would just wash it, get rid of all the dirt as much as I could, dry it out, hang it to dry, and then put it back in my backpack for the next time. So when the current one that I was wearing, if that one got dirty, I would do the same, put the next one on and then wash this one, hang it dry and then fold it away and put it in my backpack. That was it. Since I've been to the United Kingdom, I've worked hard, I've paid my taxes, I've built many businesses, I've sold some. A lot of them were not profitable. I've had over 25 different businesses. A lot of them were not profitable. Some of them were profitable. I sold a few of the businesses. I want to explain why many people come here so you can see it in a different way. I've worked hard, just as I said, and I've paid my taxes and built a life here. I'm not here to argue about migrants. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective on why migrants come to the United Kingdom or other Western countries. So the common stereotype that you hear today is, I know what people say. I hear it all the time. I hear it in the gym. I hear it a lot of the times when you walk down the street. You hear people talking. You know, migrants are here taking the houses. Migrants are taking our jobs. Migrants don't work. Migrants are a burden. Let's look at what actually is the truth here. I have got a list of 5 main reasons, which I think are really important and explains why migrants do come. And along the way, what I'll do is I'll add a few of my own stories to make it personal to me. So to help you understand from a migrant's perspective, I can't speak for every migrant, but I'll speak for myself. So the reason number 1 is war and safety. The reason people do come and fled their country is because of safety. That's one of the main reasons that anyone or any living thing would leave their home and go somewhere else. You disturb a beehive, those beehive will not come back there. They will try to fight you back, but obviously they will eventually have to go and create a hive somewhere else, right? Or if you go on, I don't know, the rabbit's hole or a rat's hole and you start disturbing it over time, they would try to flee that place and they will not come back in there. The biggest reason obviously is safety, and many countries, many of us are running from war and we don't want to get bombed and don't want to get killed. Countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Sudan, and a lot of African countries, if you look at the history, I mean, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of Kurdish people, a lot of Iraqi people, a lot of Afghan people in the United Kingdom that I've met. So let me ask you this question, right? If it was you and your home were bombed, let's take Gaza or Palestine as an example. You can see it on the news. You can see the whole Gaza Strip is completely flattened. If you haven't seen it, just type on Google and Google Images. Just find out before and after Gaza, and you'll see that completely the whole place is turned into a graveyard, and everywhere it's literally bombed. And it's flattened. There's no electricity. There's no food. There's no shelter. There's no water. Like there's nothing that you can do in there to survive, to live. Now, if it was you, would you stay there? Would you actually take your kids and get them away from danger and protect them? I know what I would do. I personally would do anything I can to not die and not let my kids die, because it's just instinct, human nature, or any living thing will try to survive as best as they can. And migration is one of the greatest chances of survival. Just as you see flocks of birds flying from, I don't know, different seasons, from North America all the way to South America and going back in different seasons. It's just literally migration. They're migrating because they want to survive. Reason number 2 is freedom. In a lot of countries, you would get jailed or be killed for speaking your mind out or saying anything, or you even believe in a different religion. Say, for example, if you go to Afghanistan and you tell people that you're Christian, I don't think it would go down well. You'll get killed, or people won't like it, basically. Or even if you say Hindus, there's a lot of Hindus and stuff are getting kicked out. So, for example, I'll give you a story which happened actually a couple of years ago. This was probably around 5 years ago. This was under the previous government. And this is the story of a mullah. I'm not criticizing all mullahs. Some mullahs are nice. A mullah is basically an imam or a priest who leads the Friday prayer. And in the likes of Afghanistan, people are not educated. They can't differentiate between A and B, right? So people can't read. People can't understand. Never mind go on Google a question and find out. They've never heard of Google. The newer generation will probably do it. However, so going back to this story, this girl had just graduated from university. She was in her early 20s, and mullah was sitting on the street, and there's a lot of these guys along the street, and they're just scamming people, right? This is my personal opinion. They're scamming people. Please don't take it personal. Personal opinion again. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, right? So basically, the mullah usually go into they write a piece of paper and give it to people. So if your husband is abusive at home, or I don't know, you fancy a girl or something, you go to a mullah and say, I fancy this girl. Can you write me a witchcraft, for example, and to make this girl fancy me back or like me back, or make my husband be a good husband at home and not beat me up, right? So the mullah then writes this script on this piece of paper and writes it in a squiggly line that no one understands it, and he charges her, say for example, 50 Afghani, or would be an equivalent in the UK, people would pay £50 for it, for example, right? So anyway, this girl goes from university, she's obviously educated, she understands it, and the whole thing is a scam. She goes to this mullah in the street and she's like, you're a mullah, you're supposed to be the person from God, you're supposed to be the messenger of God. Why are you scamming people? Why are you stealing people's money? You know this is wrong. These people are poor, and you're taking their money and taking their food out of their mouth, basically, by scamming them and telling them the truth, writing this squiggly line and telling them that, their legs will heal or something. If they have a bad back, their back will heal. And the mullah shouted out that this girl is Christian, right? She's Christian, she's burned the Quran, and this is the story. I mean, I don't know the exact. I've heard. I don't know the exact story, but this is how it goes. So, like hundreds of people, men and women, ran towards this girl because everyone obviously believes the priest, because that's how the world works over there. It's all religion, and runs towards this girl. They literally grabbed this girl and set fire to her alive. She's burnt alive, and it's literally, if you type on Google, you'll find it. And because of that reason, you don't want to be in a country where you can't say anything, you can't speak your mind up, or you'll get killed or you get shot. So, being able to speak your mind up just as I am today is worth everything to a lot of people, just like yourself. Everyone is human. Reason number 3 is work and contribution. Contribution. Most migrants come to this country, or in the Western countries, not to just sit on their asses. They actually are hungry. They are very hungry for money. They're hungry to build their life up because they're starting from zero. They've got nothing. They've literally got nothing. Just like I came here, I only had a pair of clothes. That was it. That's the only thing I had. They will work hard. They will do everything they can to build their life up from scratch because they're starting from zero. I mean, a lot of people who are born here, you don't understand this because you've been brought up in a house with your own bedroom, your own TV, your own PlayStation, your own clothes. You've got like probably 10 pair of different shoes. But migrants don't have that. They come here with a sandal. But they've all run away from war-torn countries, right? So a lot of migrants work. And if you look into the numbers, a lot of the NHS workers are actually migrants. There's a lot of migrants that work on farms, farm work like collecting fruit, potatoes, and obviously for farmers, and they get paid for it. Delivery drivers are another one. You've got a lot of Uber drivers, Amazon drivers, Just Eat. Care home workers is another one. I mean, I've been to a lot of hotels, and you go into the hotels and you look around and you see that a lot of the cleaners, the people who cleans the toilets, are usually migrants. And this is because the locals usually, I mean, these are the British locals who are born and bred here. They don't want those kind of jobs. You don't want to be a taxi driver working night shifts all the time. You'd rather be with your family, right? But migrants do it. 90% of the taxi drivers, if you look into it, like every taxi driver, most of them are migrants, right? They work hard. A lot of them has an accent, and they work hard. They work hard and pay their taxes, and they want to try to give the children a better future. Coming to it, I mean, migrants actually run these areas of the economy, should I say. Without them, not many people would do it. I don't think you would do it. Number 4 reason, obviously, is Britain itself, which is, number 4 reason is the history. I call it history and connection, right? Britain has been to many countries. Many countries. I mean, if you look at the numbers, when they call it Commonwealth, there's over 50 countries that Britain has colonized over their reign of empire. I'm not against it, right? That's how history worked. We can't change history, right? So Britain has been in a lot of countries. In Afghanistan, for example, they've been 3 times. And obviously the last time was with NATO, when obviously they all pulled out in 2020 at some point. And because of that reason, there's a lot of connection. And a lot of people were promised, a lot of interpreters. There's a lot of people who helped Britain, British soldiers, interpret and go to the villages and talk to, I don't know, the village leaders and interpret what was going on to help them and to help them fight the Taliban, obviously. So I'm just using Afghanistan as an example because that's where I'm from and that's where most of the knowledge is. So then British or even American or NATO made a lot of promises to these people. They said that if we ever leave, if the Taliban ever took over, because you've helped us, we're going to help you get out of this country, which obviously didn't happen. And what happens is, because of that reason, people speak English, people learn to speak English, communicate with these people, and people hear stories about this country through the soldiers or through the people who they worked with. And as a result, they're eventually going to come here. Say, for example, I don't know, Iraq, or Afghanistan, or Sudan, or Syria. There's a lot of people who fled from war and came here. They don't just come to the UK, they go to a lot of European countries. If you think about it, our stories is all linked already, because of we've already knew you before we came here. Reason number 5 is every migrant or every living thing want their children to be safe, right? But obviously we speak in humans. Migrants want their kids to be safe, get a good level of education, go to school, and don't live in fear on a daily basis and run away just to hide under a cave or something because the bomb is going to kill them, right? Any human being, any living thing would do exactly the same. Even if it was you, you would do exactly the same. Put yourself in their shoes. What would you do if it was you, for example? So let's get to the numbers and see what percentage of the UK is actually migrants and what percentage of the UK are British born. And looking at the numbers, 15% of the UK's population is actually migrants, and the other 85% is British born. And studies actually shown that migrants do tend to contribute more into the economy than they take out overall, right? Otherwise, the United Kingdom would not allow migrants to come here. Say, for example, one of my friend family was the head of human rights activists in Afghanistan. They were fighting for human rights under the previous government. And he had actually got a letter from Taliban to say that he was going to get beheaded, and his 3 children and his wife, basically. And this guy had got out of Afghanistan and claimed asylum in the United Kingdom. And if it was you, wouldn't you do the same thing? And because of that reason, people come and claim asylum, and everyone deserves the right to live. Doesn't matter what race you are, what color is your skin, you have the right to live because you're a human being. You should not be killed just because you're brown or black, and you should not be destroyed and beheaded. It doesn't matter. You're still a human being. That's my personal opinion. Say if you were in a war zone, and if you were born in a war zone, every day there was bombs dropping, like Gaza, for example. There will be a lot of migrants that will come from Gaza, and they will go to a lot of different European countries, right, in the next few years. If it was you, and you were living under a cruel government, just like the Taliban or Iranian regime or North Korea, for example, right? I mean, I've been to Iran, I've been to Afghanistan, but I've not been to North Korea. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, if you were living under a cruel government, you were being oppressed every single day, you can't say anything to anyone, would you stay, or would you try to protect your family and leave? Like, your kids can't even go to school. In Afghanistan, women are not allowed to go to school. They're not allowed to get education, which I don't agree with, but that's their way of life. I'm not here to criticize. I'm here to just explain what my perception is, right? Would you do it, or would you actually try to leave and protect your family? I think anyone would leave and anyone would protect their family, even if it was me, or even if it was a cat, or even if it was a snake or a duck, that if you disturb their family, or a beehive, they will eventually leave and migrate somewhere else. Migration just means basically moving from one place to another place. No one likes to leave their country. No one likes to leave where they were born, because that's where they're adapted to go somewhere else and be discriminated against 24/7 and called racist names. And I've been called many racist names by the Caucasian people here, and It's not their fault. At the end of the day, in my opinion, it's the media that manipulates people. It's the media that... The media thrives on your fear. That's my personal understanding. The media, like, not using BBC as an example, there's GB News, there's BBC News, there's Channel 4. They always thrive on your fear. They feed you this nonsense to say that, oh, migrants are here to steal your jobs, and they've tried to build the fear in your head so you become scared because you think that, oh, they're going to take over, what is going to happen to me? And every day you will go and start watching the news again. To them, it's just views. Views means if you can get over 1 million views instead of 500,000 views, you're making double the money. The reason behind it, because companies will sponsor adverts, put adverts in there. Say, for example, I don't know, Channel 4 or GB News is getting, I don't know, 10 million views per video, right? And because of that reason, if I had a company like British Gas would put an advert there, and you've got then an argument to say that actually we're getting 10 million views, and because of that reason, you should pay us this much, right? So it's all about numbers. Please don't listen to them. Please don't let them manipulate you. So if you want real talk about migration, history, and life in the UK from a migrant's perspective, hit the subscribe button. Let's talk the truth, not just headlines. Thank you for watching. And as they say in Canada, peace out.